Okay, I guess we are live streaming, and today is second day of April. Rain is flying. Um, I was in Buchanan County on Sunday, no Saturday. It was 79 degrees, and then the highest I saw on Sunday was 39. That was a 40-degree difference, and 79 degrees on Saturday, and then I wake up Sunday and there's snow on the mountaintop. Big difference, isn't it? Um, Did March go out like a lamb or a lion? In between? Some people go with that, but that doesn't mean a thing. Just like that groundhog lies all the time, what have you. But anyway, Thursday, I've got a meeting that starts at 10 o'clock with Mr. Imo and some other people. And it's supposed to be over by 11:30. But we don't know that it will be over by 11:30. So, one of two things. If I had you here, I may still be in that meeting and still not get to see you. I'll probably just give you double assignment. There'll be no class Thursday. Now, there will be tax class. We'll be finished by then. But cost accounting, there will not be a class. Now, I'll probably give you an assignment for that class that you have to hand in. Now, some of you have not handed in your assignments in taxes or finance. Hillary's always pretty good, and Terry's always pretty good about submitting a tax problem or a cost problem. Monique's always here to submit hers, so no problem with Monique. Monique, you have perfect attendance this year? Okay. I can always count on Monique. I was telling my principal's class, I've got 4 or 5 in there that's got perfect attendance. When I was in the public schools, grades 6 through 12, I missed 2 days a year. I lived on a small farm. My dad was disabled. We had to raise big gardens. We had to plant a lot of potatoes. So I missed 2 days a year. One day in the springtime to plant a whole lot of potatoes, and one day in the fall to dig a whole lot of potatoes. Now, 7.5 years of college. All right. That's a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, an MBA degree, certification in marketing, then certification in supervision, and even certification to be a public school teacher. 7.5 years of college, I missed one class. That was a night class. I was in the hospital with a bleeding ulcer because I was trying to do too much. I was teaching public schools, driving a school bus from public schools, teaching 2 nights from community college. I had a tax office, and then I was going to school 1 night a week. I got a bleeding ulcer. I missed one class. Now, everybody's not that lucky. You do have sickness. Now, even working at the community college in here, when I got major sick, it's when we were on break. Again, I was lucky. And believe it or not, when there was deaths in my family, it was when I was on break. So I think I missed one class up here in the last 10 years for a death. I had to miss a day. But again, everybody's not that lucky. You can't plan sickness or deaths. But I know one thing. I plan my dental appointments when I don't have class. I plan my doctor appointments. I tell my doctor I cannot see you. I work on these days, or I work at this time. Students can do the same thing. You can plan your doctor and your dental around, okay? But see, in here I give 10 points on a low test grade. That's just 10 points on a low test. We have 4 tests. That's like 2.5 points overall. 3 tests. All right. A couple of you haven't even checked on what your second test score was. Don't even know if I have a score or not, because you haven't come by to check. But anyway, I hope your attendance gets better, or you'll watch it live and you text me that you'll watch it live. That counts the same as being present. Okay. All right. Now, we were looking at a chapter on standard costing. We've covered that chapter. Now, we are looking at a chapter on budgeting. Now, let me look at the front of my book, and I'll tell you what test 3 is supposed to be on. Test 3 will be on chapter 7. We covered it. Test 3 will be on chapter 8. And test 3 will be on chapter 9, break-even analysis. Chapter 9 is easy. Chapter 8 is pretty easy. And last time I let you have an open book test. Can't do that this time. Okay. So we got a chapter and a half to cover before we have another test. All right, now the master budget, we talked a little bit about it to and fro. We talked about you had to have a sales budget. Then you had to have a production budget. What goes into production? Materials, labor, overhead. You got to have materials and a labor and an overhead budget. All right. And then you got to have a selling and administrative expense budget. Here they even put a personnel budget. And of course, materials, labor, and overhead. But the last item I wanted you to know is on page 313, a cash budget. Because that's all I'm going to give you from this chapter is a cash budget. No multiple choice, no true and false, just a cash budget. No production budget, no sales budget, no overhead budget. Put it on just a cash budget. All right. I told you before that newly married couples need to do a cash budget, okay? I want you to look at page 314. I don't like the way this book gives you a lag time. Now, I looked at this a little bit with you last Thursday. Okay, you got to go back on page 313. Now, Clayton, I want you and Monique both to read that second paragraph from the bottom of page 313. Driscoll has determined from historical data that the collection pattern, all right, is Exhibit 815 is applicable to its customers. Of each month's sales, 20% will be cash, right? All right, how much is credit? All right, keep this in mind. Cash sales is 20, credit sales is 80. But read on. The 40% of the credit customers who are allowed the discount pay in the month of sale. Now, out of that 80%, 42% of them are going to pay and take the discount, right? Now, that's 40% of 80%, not 40% of 100%. So 40% of that bunch is going to pay. But now they're going to take a 2% discount. Collections from the remaining credit sales are as follows. 20% in the month of sale, 50% in the month following, and 29%. What is 20, 50, and 29? What does that add up to? What does 20, 50, and 29 add up to? Where's the other one? Bad debts. Bad debts. Now, what is that 50 and 20 and 29 saying? All right. From the remaining credit customers are as follows: 20% in the month of sale, 50%. Now, what percent do we have left anyway? We collected what percent down? Start out with 100. We collected how much in cash? 20. That left 80, didn't it? Now, how many of that 80% paid? How many of the 80% paid? Right now it says 40% of the credit customers take the discount, don't they? Well, what is 40% of 80%? What's 40% of 80%? 32. If you're looking at the whole, it's 32. And now we have, golly, 20% remaining, 29. I don't like the way they set that up for you, not whatsoever. But I want you to go over and look at it on the next page. All right, we got January, February, March, and a total. And then we got uncollectible there. Bad debts, I suppose. Now look at the green chart up here. 20%, 80% make 100. Now 40 and 60% make 100 of the 80. So really, 40% of 80 is 32, and 60% of 80 is 48. Now we go over here, there's 60% of the 80% left, and 20% is collected in the month of sale, 20% later, and 29 later. Now you got to follow that. Monique, do you see you could get lost in that? All right, so let's look at January. 125,000 times decimal 80 times 60 times 29. All right. November 2013 sales, November, December, and January. November sales, remember, are gone. But what part do we collect? I think we collect that last 29%. Now, December sales, we collect that last 29% for February. But for January, we collect what percent? Now, Clayton, do you see an easier way to put those percent? There's got to be an easier way. They sure gave it to you here. Is we can get the wrong percent if we're not careful. See, then you move up to January, and we get 20% of sales. That's easy. 20% of 150 is 30. All right, then 150 times 80% times 40% times 98. So take the discount. You're collecting 40% of the 80%. Now that decimal is easy to come up with. Decimal 80, decimal 40, decimal 98. You see where those three decimals come from, Monique? Decimal 40, decimal. All right. Decimal 80 is what you got left. You're going to collect decimal 40, which is 32%. And you're going to collect 98% of that 32%. All right, that's easy to set up. So January is easy to do for January sales. Now also in January, of that 80%, there are 60% left, and we'll go collect 20% of that. 80 times 60 times 20. That's at 48. Clayton, can you see where they got the 80 times 40 times 20. Down under January in the left-hand column. That's how you get to 14.4. See how you get that? Maybe. Hey, I can get lost in this too. All right, now, the 150,000, if you follow it over to February, it's 80% times 60% times 50%. And if you follow it over to March, it's 80% times 60% times 29%. Now, hopefully you can follow those decimals. I think they worded it in a bad way. And I think we're going to practice some of those. All right, let's go over to page 216. I'm pretty sure I started, I started recording. I hope it's recording. There's one thing that's not working right. All right. First thing we've got to do is get out these lag times. Let's look at a couple of exercises. We're going to see how we can set those up or do them in an easier way. I want to go down and look at exercise 27. All right. Did we do that one in class 27? All right, we started on a little bit. Now I want you to read this. You're going to collect cash for September, October, November. They gave you August sales. Now, 40% of the company's customers pay in cash. So you got 40% to jot down there. That leaves what percent? Always remember, what percent does that leave? 60? Okay. 40% of the customers pay in cash, and the rest are credit customers. So 60% are credit customers. Now, the collection pattern for the credit customers is 20% in the month of sale. So out of that 60%, we're going to collect 20% in the month of sale. 2, 6, and 12. Now that only leaves 48% credit customers. If I took 40% of 60, 20% of 60, that's 12. That leaves 48%. But pulling that on, 20% in the month of sale and 80% in the following month. So that's 80% of 60%. This one's pretty easy. And the company expenses almost zero on collectible accounts. Now here we don't have a cash discount, and here we don't have a bad debt. So, have you got that one set up yet, Monique? All right, take a minute and set those months across the heading. Find yourself a heading similar to the one that we just looked at. They're all through there, page 310 or whatever. They're all through there on this lag time. And when I have you do a cash budget, this is the only other thing I may ask you to do with that cash budget. Collections or disbursements. I I'll get my PC working here. I want you to look at this. Let's look at it pretty close. September, October, November. Now they may give you August, they could even give you July if you got enough lag time. And we're going to collect credit sales. Now, how much was your sales? Oh, this is August. All right. The what?
The first one's for credit.
Well, let's go down to September 1st. It's just cash is 40% of 80,000, right? All right. I'd be looking at those other percents if you understand them. Right there.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh.
What? Well, she's good at saying. All right. Did you understand? Now, September. Now, 60% of those sales are on credit. We collect 20% of them in September. Now, these same sales, we collect 80% of it, of the 60, in October. And so on it goes. So up here, and my pen won't mark on this thing, and I can point it out to you. I want to see how this repeats itself. It's 60–80%. That's in the second month of sale. So look at September. All right. And your second month of sales is your 60–80%. And look at October sales. The second month of sales is your 60–80. You see where those 60–80s are coming from? All right. Monique, does that make sense to you? Now, I would prefer to do it. This is the way I would do it. I can't show you here, but let's take September. I would take 40% of the 80,000 That would leave 48,000. Then I'd take 48,000 times 20%. That's the way I would do it. 48,000. No need to put in your calculator. 48,000 times 20%. That's probably the way I would do it. I would change it to dollars. Here, then I would multiply 48,000 again times whatever percent I'm collecting here, 20, and then multiply it by 80 and get this amount. But I don't like the way they set it up, is what I'm saying. There should have been simpler ways. All right, but jot down check figures on that one. All right, let's go over to exercise 28. 28. All right, go ahead and draw your column headings: November, December, January, February, March, across the top of a sheet of paper. All right. Now we're only worried about January, February, March, but we've got to see what we've got. Tracing corrections from prior month sales and discussions with a credit of a given month's sales, 40%. All right. I want you to take 40% of January's sales, 40% of 79, collected in the month of sales. Now their terms are 1% end of month, net 30. All collections within the month of sale are net of the 1%. So what is 40% of 79,000? Multiply that out first. And then subtract 1%. What does that give you? Or 39% of 79,000.
31,200.
I keep that figure in mind. Now, all collections within the month of sale are net of 1. Of a given month's sales, 30% is collected in the month following the sale. Okay, so that's easy. 30% of the 79. The remaining 30% is collected in the second month. That's easy. Now, I like the way they mentioned this one. I like the way they're doing this one. We can do it easier. All right, so let's take a look at it. All right. Clayton, did this match one of your figures up here somewhere to 31,284? That match your figure? All right. Let's go over to January, February, March. 83,000. We collect what month? How much in the month of sale? How did it work then? How much? Now that's November. Now let's just go right here to January, right here. 40. And that's the figure I had Clayton to calculate. 40% times 79. We only collect 99% of it. Or you could have went 39% times 79,000. It should still work, shouldn't it? 39%, 79. All right. Now we're going to collect 30% of this 79 in February. We're going to collect 30% of this 79 in March. That's easy. 40, 30, 30. That's the way I've always liked it. And we don't have to take 60% of 80% of 90%. So this kind is easy for you. You should be able to get it. But make sure that, Clayton, again, multiply 39% times 79,000. $31,284 or not? Will it not work? Now wait a minute. We're collecting 40% and they're taking a 1% discount. Yeah, that's not the same as 39%. It won't work, will it? It won't work. Wrong.
No, you gotta calculate it.
Not saying. You gotta take the 40% and then multiply that by 99 or subtract out the 1. Good. Okay, Monique, what problems did I have assigned for today? Okay, we worked all around those today. Let's go back some of these that were just asking you about other budgets. We're going to have to work on this cash collection. 19 is a sales budget, and that shouldn't be too hard. All right, what does 19 give us? First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. It gives you 17, billion, million, whatever, 16, 14, 12. All right? Well, what is that? What are those dollars up there? Well, the selling price declined, didn't it? From 17 down to 12. All right, so that's what we've got up here. And we want to find our sales in dollars. And that's what we have here. In talking with customers, the sales department discovered that sales quantities per quarter could vary. Thus, the sales manager has prepared the following 3 sets of data. First, second, third quarter, fourth quarter, scenario A, scenario B, scenario C. So, if we take the first scenario, that's the one we were looking at, A, and the second scenario, and the third scenario. All right, if the sales department is able to influence customers, which of the potential sales scenarios would be most profitable for the company? And which one of these would be most profitable? The idea of which one would be most profitable? Well, now, the first one up there was 600,000. All right. We have to know something about expenses, maybe. I don't know if they told us or not. Would that scenario possibly cause the company any difficulty? They didn't give you any other figures, but now your total first, second, third, fourth quarter is still 2 million. Keep that in mind. Right? But now, Clayton, you're not looking at the final figure. Clayton, Which one did you look at? The first one? You say the first one? Because you only looked at the first quarter. But now if you look at the total for all quarters, which one is more profitable? C part. It's right there. C is most profitable. So 530, 480, 800, and 190. You could distribute your sales that way. All right, that wasn't much of an exercise. Now 20. Okay, 20, a production budget. All right, the company's policy is to have an ending inventory equal to 5% of the next month's sale. However, the criteria was not in effect at the end of 2013. At that time was 7,000 units. Describe the company's production requirements. Now, all right, that's an easy one. You want to take budgeted sales, 102, minus ending inventory. Now, what's this 5% of? All right, try 5% of 96,000. See what happens. What'd that give you, Monique? All right, because that's what we got here, isn't it? We take 5%. Clayton take 5% of 128,000. Five percent of 128. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. 64. You're right. So do you see where these ending inventories come from? All right. Then we add them total required, and then we take our beginning inventory. And we know our beginning is the ending, 48, 64. What was ending for 1 month is beginning the next period. And here is the bottom line. We should produce these many items. A production budget, not bad. Now, 21. So I just tried to give you a bunch of these. Monique, do you have 21 words? Clayton? All right. Well, we're not going to take time then. This is the same way, 21, so we'll just look at it real quick. Now, this was 10% of next month's sale. See, Clayton, if you looked at this, and you took 10%, next month's sales, 136,000. 10% of 980 is 98,000, right? And you add, you get the total. Now, your ending inventory has to be given, but here your ending is your beginning over here, or your ending is your beginning. Ending is beginning, okay? So that's easy budget to do. So we'll move on down then to number 22. I just wanted to look at some of these little other budgets. Here we have materials and labor budget. So if you got production up here for these units, if we're looking at 22, we want to produce 1,121,500. We got to buy materials, pay for labor and overhead to produce them, don't we? And that's our next exercise. We looked at 20 and 21. 22, was it about the same? I think it was. But now 22, now on 22, the sales budget's about the same, or production budget. Sales is only 300. We got 1,700 in the inventory. Units needed 2,000. Well, we have 1,000, so we're going to produce 1,000. All right. Now, where did they get the 1,900? Where did they get in the inventory from? Did they give you that? We have sales January, February, March, April, May, June. All right, my question is, take the money, find out where Indian inventory came from. We know beginning comes from Indian. Find out where Indian inventory in that problem comes from.
That
Did they give it to you? Is it a percent? What is it?
it tells you how much. Cost per pound.
All right, January sales is 300. How many pounds? How many pounds? Do what?
I don't know. It doesn't.
All right, wait a moment. Take a minute and find me that 1,700.
Oh,
For problem 22, find me that 1,700. You got to figure it out yet, guys. Now your reads right there. The finished goods ending inventory equals to the next 2 months of sales. You see that? It's equal to the next 2 months of sales. So let's take January and February. That would have been 1,000 last month ended inventory beginning. Now take 700 add to 1,000. What do you get? What's 700 plus 1,000? All right, that becomes the beginning. What's 1,000 plus 900? All right, 1,900. Now, do you see where those come from? All right. Now I want you to look at B part. Cost of raw materials purchased. You take the units produced, 900, requires 3 pounds. Ending inventory, 1,350, pounds needed, pounds of raw materials, beginning, pounds purchased, times $2 is this amount. Now, where's these amounts come from? Take a minute, Monique and Clayton, and tell me where the 900, 400, 300, tell me where those numbers come from. What now?
that's the units.
February. And we know sales.
Yeah, that's like
Wait a minute now, wait a minute, Clayton. You may have something there. Look up here. How many units do we have to produce in February? Right here. How many units do we produce in February? All right. And February, we need, reduce how many? That's where they come from. All right, 3 pounds at 2,700. Now, where's ending inventory come from? 1350. Find out where ending inventory comes from. Read your problem again. The what now? All right. We're going down to 15. That's half of how much? Now, 27 is 1350, isn't it? And if you need 12, half of that's 6, isn't it? Okay. And this 1,500 would have to come from last month. We had to know that. Okay, you see that, Clayton, where everything comes from? Okay. Now we're going down to a direct labor budget. Units produced times 10 hours per unit is total hours. And then there's your pay per hour. That's your cost of direct labor. So we looked at a sales budget, a production budget, materials budget, and direct labor budget. Some of these are pretty straightforward. This labor budget, that's about as simple as you can get. Okay. Any question on 22? Let's move on and look at 23. The materials budget again. Here we projected sales of 325. Take 2.5 yards of fabric. The beginning inventory fabric and gown are 35 and 21, and so on. All right, the fabric comes in 15 feet rows, I guess, 15-yard rows. One has no beginning inventory. All right, so let's see another materials. All right, number 23 is this figure given. The sale of gowns of 325 given. Okay, now, ending inventory of gowns. They give you that. All right, the total. Now, then they give you the beginning inventory of gowns. So that means we need 319,800. We need to produce that many. It takes 2.5 yards per item. So we've got to buy 799,000 yards. Now, they tell you how much inventory. This is finished goods. This is material. They tell you 4550. Then they tell you 5,000. All right. That means we need to purchase 799,000 yards at 50. Divided by 15. Necessary boats, 53,207. So you can do anything with this materials budget. So we've had collections, sales budget, materials budget, labor budget, and you had exercise 26, which is purchases budget. Is that the one we just did, 26? Did we do that one? We did 27. All right, so here is your budgeted purchases. All right, cost of goods sold is 600,000. Accounts payable 40. Inventory is 60. Desired inventory is 84. Let's take a minute and look at number 26. Cost of goods sold, 600 given. Ending inventory, 84 given. Beginning inventory, 60 given. So we need to buy 624. Now you can set that up in other ways that you want to. You can set it up by plugging in figures by the old method. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory gives you cost of goods sold. Remember, Ramona, do you have those four figures written down right there? You have this, right? Let me try something. Okay, what was cost of merchandise sold on that one? Well, Clayton, we've all got those. Cost of merchandise sold, what, 600? We all have those. All right, now that's what we're looking for back in principles of accounting. Now it gives you inventory of 60,000. The inventory of 60,000, that beginning or ending? Inventory on 114. Is that beginning or ending? Well, we can plug that in up here. Whoops, plug that in here. Now, do I have any other figure I can plug in, Monique, since you worked this problem? We want 84 here. Now look at this, folks, using your old method. What is 600 plus 84? 684, right, Clayton? All right. So how many do we have to purchase to give us 684? How many do we have to purchase? 60 plus what? This is a plus. Oh, I'm showing. See how you can plug it in? All right, what was our answer on that one anyway? All right, that was our answer, wasn't it? Okay. But you can go back the old way and plug these in. Now your monthly purchase, 624 divided by 12 is 52,000 times 11 needed, 572,000. The beginning balance of 40, total cash payments is 612. So part of a cash budget is paying for materials, labor, and overhead. That's paying, selling, and administrative. All right, and we had 29. Cash collections. Here we go again. We didn't look at that one today, did we? Now, Clayton, I would suggest you go back and really analyze this one. And take that cash. October collection from accounts receivable, 11. From October billing, 15% of 100. Total October collections. That must be a pretty easy setup on that one. And then November, December, and January. All right. Now, what do we need to do about Monique? Do you have other class